Michael Anton is a lecturer at Hillsdale College in Michigan. He's a former national security advisor to the President Donald Trump, and he joins us tonight. Michael Anton, thanks very much for coming on.
Thanks
You've watched for the past 2 years as Trump has been called a nutcase for suggesting there's a permanent class, a deep state, and they're acting against his agenda. Now, that very group is saying, yes, we exist, yes, we're doing it, and yes, he's still a nutcase. What do you make of that?
Well, the narrative immediately shifted from the president's crazy for saying this and believing it to, well, the president has it coming. He deserves a deep state undermining him. One of the things, too, that I found notable, there are many things notable in the op-ed, but one is that this person, whoever wrote it, claims to be a political appointee. Typically, when people say deep state, they mean the permanent civil service, the people that you can't hire and fire, that are just around whoever gets elected. This is worse. This person claims to be someone who's appointed by the president, who's part of the people that come in as the result of an election to implement the will of the voters as expressed in that election, and this person has raised their hand to say, I'm subverting that. I'm deliberately undermining that. I agree with you. That's just fundamentally undemocratic and much worse than the permanent civil service doing something.
What's so interesting is the people who are cheerleading this are the very ones who are forever lecturing us about the subversion of standards and norms. You know, all the blue check Twitter idiots. The norms are going away. So the norms are changing, actually, and they're driving the change in those norms. So what does this mean, as a historian, which you are, what does this mean for future administrations? It's now okay for the unelected to run the government? Like, how can you run the country now?
That's what I'm worried about. Perhaps as penance for some of my past sins, I was assigned these 6 books by various liberals and anti-Trump people, all claiming that Trump is the subverter of democracy, and I had to review them, and I reviewed them all in one lump. And what I found was that the thesis of each book is preposterous. They're all written by people who have been saying for years, decades, that unelected bureaucrats should take over because they're smarter than us, and the people often get it wrong, and the administrative state rule is superior to democratic political rule. And all of a sudden, they're writing these books saying Donald Trump is subverting democracy when he's trying to implement the will of the people after having won an election. That's Freudian projection, as far as I can tell.
But what's going to happen? I mean, we're going to have other presidents. Presumably, the Republic will continue. So, like, the next president, let's say he's a Democrat, what's that going to be like? Because now it's okay to, if you don't like his policies, to undermine them from within.
Well, the narrative will switch just as fast as it switched after the New York Times op-ed came out. The narrative will be that what they're trying to do is right and just, and it accords with what the wise and good think, so it's okay, and it's illegitimate to oppose them. And even democratic means to oppose them are illegitimate. One thing I've learned in studying the left over many years is that they're very, very able and capable of turning on a dime. Whatever the argument they need to make in the here and now, they will make without looking back.
Right. The Stalin von Ribbentrop Pact is actually a good thing. They're scary. They shouldn't be near power, I think. Michael Anton, thank you very much. It's actually upsetting. They're power worshippers. All right, it's a night of big names on this program. Dana Perino coming up, Mark Stein, Ann Coulter, all in one show. It's like a Snickers bar, a little of everything, and it adds up to a great snack. Plus,